Hi, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. Well, we're back from our party in California last week. Our thanks to the Ganguzas for letting us trash their apartment. This week we've got a great guest, a great pair of guests, Jim Alburger and Penny Abshire from VoiceOver Academy and, of course, Voice 2014. They'll have some announcements about that. And we'll talk about the 5th edition of James' book on home studios.
I'll be sharing you with my thoughts on shopping for a computer and just what to look for and why you may not need to go up high end as you think you may for recording audio.
And in my tip of the week, we'll talk about processing. That's East-West Audio Body Shop this Monday night, 9 o'clock in the East.
And 6 o'clock in the West.
And join the crowd in the chat room. We'll see you there.
He's the home voiceover studio engineer to the stars in Los Angeles, California. A Virginia Tech grad whose knowledge of the latest recording gear is second to none. He's a voice actor and the home studio master, hailing from Buffalo, New York. His home studio skills and knowledge of voiceover recording is unmatched. When Dan and George talk shop, people listen, and the talk continues tonight. Welcome to East-West Audio Body Shop. And now, live from his high-tech facility in Santa Monica and his penthouse studio in Buffalo, here are George Whittam and Dan Leonard.
Thank you, Dave Courvoisier. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop.
Oh, great. I ended up by whacking my microphone.
Hit the mic.
Let's
Good
take that one again.
No. We're just fine. We're fine. All right. We having some transmission issues this evening or anything?
I don't know. I asked everybody how we're looking, and we got a 5x5. So I think
we'll go with it then.
I say 5x5 is pretty good.
All right. Well, welcome. And thanks again for the party last week, and all of you that were patient enough to sit through it live.
Yeah,
that was the replay was fabulous.
Yes. You know? If you only watched the last show live, that is not indicative of what the show everybody else is watching. So do yourself a favor and go check it out on YouTube.
Right, and we'll make up for it tonight, I guess.
I hope so.
Yes.
Although we are trying new stuff tonight, too, because not a show goes by where we don't try something new.
Something new, right. So the picture quality looks a little bit better than we're doing okay. And, of course, the audio is spectacular tonight. Absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, we happen to be using Source Connect now right now for the transmission. So what you're hearing from Dan's on Source Connect now. And then later, when we have James and Penny on, because we don't have three-way video audio chat in Source Connect now yet, we're going to try this thing called Zoom, and we're bringing them in via Zoom, something that James told us about. So it's going to be a fun night of experimenting with new tools live on the air for all to see.
We'll make it a little bit easier. Yes, and James Alburger and Penny Abshire will be our guests tonight. We're going to talk about voice and a bunch of other stuff that they happen to do in the voiceover community. And, of course, we need to thank our sponsors. You see, I put this in big block letters tonight. So I remembered that we needed the top of the show, especially our wonderful friend Harlan Hogan at VoiceOver Essentials, VoiceOver Extra, and your employer, Edge Studio.
That's right. Just
point to the sign behind you, and that would help that out. Now you're probably wondering what this contraption is here.
Yes, what the heck is that? Ancient microphone.
This is an ancient microphone. I've been looking for one of these on eBay for a couple of years, and they keep coming up, and they're always very expensive, and then somebody didn't realize how valuable one of these guys is. This is a 1928 Universal Model X microphone. Now, you're probably wondering what it sounds like.
Yes, we are so wondering, Dan.
Yes, there's a reason we use these really good microphones now, like the Harlan Hogan VO1A. It's because it sounds sort of like this. I can't wait to hear what that actually sounds like in the replay. But you are hearing me on an old carbon microphone. And this is what they used to use in radio. And although this one I think was more designed for public address systems, batting seventh,
What makes it even more perfect is the way it breaks up and distorts when you yell into the microphone. When you're,
I know.
It's just, it's classic.
Well,
you can't fake it, kids. This is what the real mic sounded like 100 years ago.
Yeah, and of course you had to back off of it a little bit more, you know. So how does it sound if I'm like at about that distance? And I don't need that thing over my ear. Silliest thing I've ever heard. Anyway.
It's lovely, Dan. It'll make the other mic sound just all the more sweeter when you turn that thing off.
It's nice and shiny. All right, okay. Well, we'll go play with this one a little bit.
It makes
later.
a great prop, though. It really does.
It
Wait,
really
hold that
does.
up again. What was it sitting on?
What's
below? What's below it?
Oh, it's sitting on a mustache.
I thought that was part of the mic. I was like, is that a blender?
It can part of the
that?
mic. It's a mustache mic.
It's hilarious.
Anyway,
where were we?
We'll put that over there and try not to kick things. All right. Anyway,
fun.
Back to our normal way of doing things here tonight. So let's see. We've got tip of the week. We've got James and Penny are coming on. We've got all our friends in the chat room, and they're our best friends ever. And you guys prove it every week. And you've got something you want to talk about: computer shopping. One of my favorite things to do. I'll come with you.
And it's also one of the reasons why I like doing what I do for a living, because I get to shop with other people's money. Yes, I love to do that. I mean, it really does make my job very satisfying, being able to shop with other people's money. But I try to do it from as though it was me doing the shopping. So those that know me know that I'm pretty frugal. I like a deal. I like finding things used. You know, I'm kind of all about that. So if you hear it from me, it's probably never going to be top of the line or top of the line product unless it really needs to be. Okay. So, I mean, in terms of computers, and I'll try to keep this as generic as I can, but I'll talk about maybe a couple brands, you know, where it really counts to me. But when it comes time to shopping for computers, I've got a few points that I think, you know, you really want to pay attention to. And I'll start with generically what matters and what, in my opinion, doesn't matter in terms of features that you get in a new computer. So, I mean, this can hold true for a laptop or a desktop computer for the most part. Of course, when you're looking at laptops, there's going to be a few more built-in functions, usually meaning like a webcam, and of course a display. But desktop computers, a lot of the features are common. In fact, the architectures of these computers are getting more and more common now, where the guts in a laptop and the guts in a desktop are becoming more similar in terms of just power. So what's going on, I mean, is that there's a race to sell more computers, right? The market for desktop computers especially is shriveling up quickly as more and more people are figuring out they only need a laptop. So they're trying to throw more and more at it. And you'll notice that there's a really cheap end, and then there's sort of like a wishy-washy middle end. And then after that, it's like the sky's the limit in regards to power, processors, graphics, and all this kind of stuff. But the bottom line is you don't need a computer that was designed for gamers. Gamer PCs have monstrously powerful GPUs, also known as video cards. GPU stands for graphics. GPU is central processing, graphics processing. Right. GPU is graphics processing units. And they are actually so powerful now, these cards, that they outpower the CPU itself. In fact, gamers will spend 3 or 4 times more on the GPU than they will on the CPU, just because they want to have the maximum horsepower. That could not be further from the priority for a voice actor. You're not trying to do any really heavy lifting with the video. You know, we running a 1080p or even 2 high definition 1080p screens like I am right here does not take a high power GPU these days to do it. If that's what you're doing, mostly doing audio and dabbling in video, don't worry about how powerful or how fast the GPU is. So that is something that's not going to matter so much to you. But what does matter is how much memory, or we say memory in Apple, but on Windows we say RAM. RAM is pretty important because RAM is what allows you to run multiple applications at the same time, and was what allows you to have a lot of different tracks and lots of layers of audio open at the same time. So if you're a voice actor who's strictly doing a dry voice track, one mono track, editing it, maybe processing a little bit and sending it, you're not going to need as much memory. Okay, you'll probably only need like what the basic computer these days comes with. If you buy a new PC or a new Mac, expect it to have at least 4 gigabytes of memory in it. That should be the bare minimum. And that is honestly plenty for just about anybody, unless you're a total power user or a browser tab freak. Okay, I am a browser tab freak. I have probably 15
Yeah, I've noticed.
Yeah, I probably have 15 to 20 browser tabs open. And it's partly because maybe I'm too lazy to go into the bookmarks menu and open things all the time. It's also because I like to jump between a lot of different things. And so much these days runs in a browser and less so runs on the computer itself as applications. Like what all the things that I used to run, say Apple Mail, calendar, address book, Microsoft Word. I have tabs open now in my browser because I happen to be doing all of that stuff in the cloud or in Google. But it doesn't matter. All that stuff, despite whether it's running on the desktop or running as tabs in the browser, still uses a huge amount of memory. So especially you Google Chrome users, you want lots of memory. And thankfully, memory is not very expensive. It kind of fluctuates in price, but it is not expensive these days to outfit a new computer with like 16 gigabytes of RAM. I found that you can probably buy 16 gigabytes of RAM for roughly about $150. So that's one area where you don't really want to skimp because it's not that expensive, and having more RAM really boosts the computer's performance tremendously. It just means that everything that the computer needs to do, access this document, that document, whatever is open right now on your machine, can all be sitting in RAM, and RAM or memory is extremely fast. And that makes the computer feel very responsive, very snappy. Another thing that really can matter to your machine's performance is whether you have a hard drive or an SSD. And an SSD is a solid state drive. You either have an HD spinning hard disk or you have a solid state drive. And solid state drives per gigabyte are definitely more expensive. Okay, that is the major downside of an SSD. Really will cost you a lot more money. However, you don't need a very big one for your system disk or the drive that's inside the computer that contains the operating system and the applications. Okay, that is, and if you have a fast SSD or any SSD at all for that portion of your system, that is what you're going to perceive and feel like is going to cause a major improvement in performance. We just upgraded a computer at Edge Studio. It's a 5-year-old PC. We've got an office full of 5-year-old Windows PCs. And we were getting ready to consider the idea of doing a mass upgrade. And I said, let's just try one experiment. Let's pull out the old hard drive, clone it to an SSD, and let's upgrade the network card because it was using Wi-Fi before, so now we went to Ethernet. Those two things made a massive improvement right overnight, or just actually in 2 hours. So SSDs really can make the machine feel snappy. It boots up quicker, applications start faster, and it allows you to multi-track really, really effectively. So definitely consider an SSD. But 128 gigabytes of SSD storage is going to be about $100. So think about what you can get for $100 in hard drives. You can get a terabyte hard drive for $100. So get the big hard drive and use that for all your audio, your video, your pictures, all those things. Stick them on the big hard drive. Keep all the other stuff on the SSD, and your computer will be snappy. So that's something to look for when you purchase a new machine. It's worth the little extra investment, I think, when you're buying a new computer to choose the SSD option if they give you one. Mm-hmm. In regards to operating systems, you guys all know, if you ever watched the show, Dan and I use the Mac operating system. We love Mac OS. I like Mac because I find it is just more of a get things done kind of operating system. There's generally less to go wrong. It's still not being attacked so heavily by virus and malware. And I just happen to like a few programs that only run on the Mac OS side of things, namely Twisted Wave. And, Twisted Wave's the biggie, I guess, at this point. That really is only on Mac. Many programs are now cross-platform. But I just happen to like the Mac OS. Now, another reason you may consider Apple versus maybe a custom-built PC, because I know a lot of people say, well, why would I spend $1,000 on an Apple when for the same $1,000 I can get a custom PC made? The custom PC will be supported by who? Who's going to support that PC that you either built yourself or had some guy build in his garage?
The guy who built it in his garage. Yeah. Good luck with that
and
one.
If he disappears, you're SOL, okay? So I like buying computers, whether they're Mac or PC, that have really good support. On-demand, phone, whatever it is. Apple, Dell, HP probably has some pretty good support these days. Just make sure whoever you buy a computer from, it's got good support. And consider the extended warranty again. If you're buying an Apple product, they're great quality, but when something goes wrong, it is pretty darn expensive. So like with Apple, the Apple Care warranty, especially on a laptop, might be a good investment. But there's my spiel on computers. Happy shopping, and don't overspend. If you're spending well north of $1,000 on your audio recording computer and you're not doing massive production with many layers of tracks and HD video, you're probably spending too much.
Absolutely. These things are important. So
Yep.
make sure you spend them wisely. I just bought a 4 terabyte backup drive.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it's like I keep taking stuff from one computer or from one backup drive, and then as things keep getting bigger, I keep throwing them into other big drives.
Stuff keeps migrating from one computer to the next.
That's right. Well, the old 3 terabyte drive is now in the bookshelf. Carefully stowed between books. It's not going anywhere.
You're the only one I know who has retired a 3 terabyte hard drive. That's the biggest hard drive in my house right now.
Yeah, no.
But hard drives are relatively inexpensive. Even a 4 terabyte hard disk now is what, $200? Or was it more than that? I don't know, somewhere in that ballpark.
The four was like 130, 140.
Oh my
like
God.
That.
I mean, yeah, it's unbelievable how inexpensive they are. So,
yeah.
But remember, the more data you have on those drives, the bigger the backups you're going to need. If you're not backing up this data, kiss it goodbye.
Yeah.
I
back up everything.
Data does not exist unless it's in at least 2 places at once. And I think 3 is really the safe way to go.
I've got mine on that one. I've got a Passport 1 terabyte over here that I throw videos on, and then I've got the 4 over here. So I think I got it covered.
I got Time Machine going, backing up locally. I got Crash Plan backing up to the cloud. Our house could be under 10 feet of water, and I could get all my data back. And that matters to me when I live if you live in a tsunami zone like me, believe me, it's important.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things. When you live by the ocean, there's problems with that.
This is definitely, our house is about sea level. It would definitely be underwater.
You're 2 blocks from the ocean.
Oh yeah. We would be underwater real fast.
Not good. Hopefully the sirens would go off. Well, speaking of sirens going off, we've got a lot more show coming up. We have James and Penny will be with us in just a couple of minutes.
Yep.
And I've got a tip of the week. We're going to talk about hissing. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back here on East West Audio Body Shop. Do not go away.
Hey, honey, the faucet's leaking again.
Later.
Oh, sweetie, the trash smells. Can you take it out?
Later.
Babe, your mother's on the phone.
Later. Ah, cool. Oh, darling, how about a back massage?
Later.
East West Audio Body Shop. Everything else can wait.
Here on East West Audio Body Shop. And our thanks, of course, to Larry and Sylvia for doing those bumpers for us. We got to get a couple other new ones. If you guys want to do a bumper for us, do them. We got all those great shout-outs last week.
Yeah, it was great.
So I know you're capable.
Have fun with it, you know?
Yeah, it's not that we're professional recording artists or anything.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Let me mute their mic over there. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, why not? Have fun with it. Just if you've got a fun idea, we'll be glad to use it. You know, it's just the more the merrier. We have a great time with it, you know?
Absolutely. Well, let's see here as we ramble on for this first half hour of East West Audio Body Shop, episode number 141.
Mm-hmm. It kind of rolls off the tongue.
I know, rolling into our fourth year of doing this show.
Yep.
When we hit 5, I don't know what we're gonna do.
No,
when we hit 13, we can have a bar mitzvah.
Let's do it from Florida.
That'll be different.
Let's do a show episode or year 5 from Florida or something like that.
Okay, like from my mother-in-law's backyard with the statues and stuff.
Yeah,
that'd be good. And the pool and all.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Anyway, tip of the week. Here's one that a lot of people ask for because this microphone was really an excellent example of it. A little bit on hissing. Let's take that one right now.
All right. What's that hissing sound? Is it Niagara Falls? My grill leaking? Nope, it's a major nemesis to beginners in voiceover. Hissing. What is it? Why are you getting it? And how do you avoid it or get rid of it? In acoustics, noise is usually referred to as an objectionable sound that's unwanted. In more technical terms, a sound that's added unintentionally to recording is audio noise, like audio hiss, which is usually created in an electronic mode of some sort. Sound waves are formed by a chain of analog sine waves. The characteristics of sound depend upon a combination of blending these sine waves. This determines whether the sound will be pleasant or unpleasant in listening. While recording, audio noise that you used to hear on analog cassette tapes can get on your pristine digital recordings too. As we've been discussing here, in modern digital recordings, the main source of noise is due to perhaps the wrong equipment or having poor wiring, which introduces low humming noise that we talked about a few weeks ago, and what we call analog broadband hiss. The most important factor with noise, of course, is your room acoustics. But what about this hissing? In electronic devices, hiss is often caused when random electrons deviate from their intended path under the influence of heat, which you get in analog transistorized equipment. These deviated electrons manipulate the output signal voltage, and thus an audio noise is created, like hiss. Hiss can also be due to environmental factors like air conditioning, fans, Niagara Falls, etc. Generally, that hiss comes from one source, though, an analog part of your audio chain. What are the analog links in your audio chain? First, your microphone. It's analog all the way. It takes physical sound waves and converts them to analog voltage variations. Good microphones have what we call low self-noise. The cheaper you go, generally the more noise coming down the line with your voice. There's also preamps. Cheapo preamps are a major culprit. They're also analog, especially if they have a vacuum tube somewhere in their circuitry. We're finding more and more that for doing dry voice work, The preamps in most major brand digital interfaces are perfectly good for a home studio, so learn to trust them. Third, the hiss may not be on your actual recording. Depending on how you play back your audio, if you play it back from an analog line out from your computer, there'll be some hiss. The best way to avoid hiss? The use of proper recording levels. By setting the recording levels high, it's possible to mask that background noise, which is always there. A high level of input not only masks that noise, but it also gives a better signal-to-noise ratio. However, of course, very high levels can cause the signals to clip, resulting in distortion. So set the level at about -6 dB, between -6 and maybe -4. This allows enough headroom and also avoids distortion. But more importantly, it makes sure that your voice is louder than that hiss. And that's my tip of the week.
Yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie, but it's still totally relevant. You know, I mean, you've got to understand. I think I get hiss from people sending me, their audio all the time, and it's constant. Like, what's that hissing? Or they don't hear it at all. They think it's a normal part of their sound. Even weirder. You were gonna say?
Yeah. I mean, hiss. Yeah, as you outlined in the video so eloquently, that hiss can be sourced from a lot of things, but sometimes it's just a simple setting issue. And I found that Windows 7 and probably Windows 8 too, I haven't played with Windows 8 as much yet, but I think it has a similar issue, is that when you have a microphone that has its own gain control, which would be most decent USB mics and anything, of course, that has its own gain, like a Scarlett 2i2 and whatnot, if you're using the Windows Classic Wave driver or the Windows audio driver that's built into Windows, it will actually take over or at least give you another way to control level. So if you don't have the level in Windows set low enough, it's actually artificially adding more gain to the signal. And what that means is if you don't turn your gain on your mic down or the Scarlett, whatever, the noise floor goes way up. So I discovered this, I don't know, probably 2-3 years ago. It was actually around the time we finished the Don LaFontaine voiceover lab. I'd put in a Windows dual boot on the Mac, and we were going into Windows and using the same exact equipment. All this noise was coming up. And once I figured that out, setting the level in Windows to 10 out of 100 roughly, and then increasing the gain, it really reduces the hiss big time. So if you run into that, that's the trick. It seems to work almost all the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And if it wasn't for Windows, we'd never have any problems.
Well, yeah, that's probably not entirely true because people that upgrade their Macs every time a new operating system comes out, they like to keep me on my toes.
They certainly
so
do.
Don't upgrade everything the second it comes out. Please don't do it.
Yeah, really.
Unless you like paying money to me. Then please, by all means.
And we can talk about
and while
that,
we're at it, install Cubase, Nuendo, Logic, and Pro Tools. Please, by all means.
And use as many USB ports as possible.
Yeah.
There we go. All righty. We got James and Penny will be joining us in just a few momentos. Now, if I'm going to do this live, do we need to go to a buffer and then just have me come back live? Or
go to the spot right now. We're going to do a new thing with a live script. How do you say this? We just have a scripted spot for Edge.
It's called a live read.
A live read.
A live read. Okay. By the way, George, as you know, is with our good friends at Edge Studio, and he is offering through Edge a spring cleaning. So spring into May by spring cleaning your home studio. Edge Studios George Whittam is offering remote via Team Viewer and Skype. Great way to do that. System optimization. Tune your computer for the best recording results, speedier performance. Also a system cleanup. We've been talking about this last half hour. You'll do a system cleanup. Remove junk from the system, wasting drive space. Put a big drive on there and get all that stuff off of there. System and software updates. Install updates only to enhance the recording experience or security. We could talk about that all night. File organization. You should see my son. He knows how to organize files. So does George. He's great at it. tweak the current file management or devise a plan to follow if your current methods are slowing you down. Where did I put that file?
Yeah, exactly.
And backup. We always talk about backup. He will check your current backup system or install a solution, which may require some additional costs, like a USB hard drive and or a monthly cloud backup fee. And of course, as we all offer you, Q&A. Somebody like George on the line, you can ask him all sorts of questions, and he will give you the best answer possible.
And that is all for a low, low price
Of $127.
That's right.
Home studio spring cleaning that won't clean out your wallet.
Yeah, so this is a brand new service. Literally, we came up with it this afternoon. We're going to be doing it, I believe, for the month of May. So stay tuned for a special link that'll take you to this promotion. We don't have it yet. That's how new it is, but
It's so new. We got to, like, the dust cover is still on.
exactly.
You know,
and I'm also going to offer virtual engineering, my Twisted Wave Stacks service for half price for the entire month of May, $37.50 to get a custom audio stack. So the biggest discount I think I've probably ever offered on anything. So
wow.
Hope you can check it out.
Excellent. By the way, one of our favorite folks out there, Uncle Roy, apparently is ailing. He's, I'm not sure, it may be kidney stones or something like that, but he had some picture in Facebook of him doing a selfie in a...
Oh, jeez.
WTF, Uncle Roy? What's going on? What happened?
Yeah. I don't want to go TMI, but I think it was something to do with kidney stones.
Yeah, but if you're out there, Uncle Roy, we're thinking about you. So
yeah, buddy,
feel better.
Well, let's go to
it too shall pass.
Let's go to this quick break, and we'll come back and we'll get James and Penny on the line who are waiting in the wings.
Outstanding. We'll be right back here in East West Audio Body Shop. Don't go anywhere.
VO Studio Tech. Recording made simple.
Hi, I'm Peter McHugh.
This is Jim Tasker from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, this is Bill Ratner in Los Angeles.
Hi, this is Scott Rummel here in Yorba Linda, California.
Hi, my name is Rick Wasserman.
Hi, this is Tom Kane.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Marshall.
Hi, my name is Zurich.
Hi, I'm Mary McKittrick.
Randy Thomas chiming in.
Hi, this is Joe Szymanski.
Hey, this is Rick Robles.
Hi, my name is John Patrick Armstrong.
I was turned on to George by none other than Don LaFontaine, who always swore by his help.
George is absolutely awesome.
ISDN, Source Connect, Phone Patch, FTP, you name it, George has set it up.
It's really the best thing I've ever done for myself. I feel free, safe, fearless, like anything is possible in here.
Unless you like to look for opportunities to waste time, call George.
And he did all of that, long distance over the phone and the internet.
I'm very happy with George, and I cherish him.
Thanks, George. You make it easy.
And now, back to East West Audio Body Shop, where every week it's Apollo 13.
And we are back on East West Audio Body Shop. Thank you for sticking with us while we talk about memory and backups and all those other things. But let's bring on some of our favorite people. They've been with us before. Heck, they were with us last week. They liked it so much they came back. Joining us from San Diego, the owners of the VoiceOver Academy, James Alburger and Penny Abshire. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you. It's fun being here. We're looking forward to this.
To be here.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Fun to watch work.
Yeah, and I should point out, Dan, it's a pleasure being had.
All righty. Well, now that we're done with the pleasantries, you guys have been you started this wonderful thing, and we were talking about this last week. How much stuff has happened because of what you two guys did back in 2007 at the first voice conference in Las Vegas at the Palace Station, and we had such a great time there. I mean, the party started, and then the party just never stopped. And this show is actually part of that. Give us a little bit of background on how voice actually got started.
It's her fault.
It's her fault. Okay.
It is my fault. I had been after Jim for a number of years. I said, we never get to see our friends. We talk to them on the phone. And even then, we didn't have things like what we're doing tonight. So you could actually see people. It was just voice or it was email. And so we decided that it was time, or I said, it's time that we get them all together and have a convention. I said, even plumbers have conventions. Why not voiceover artists?
I said sprocket, not socket.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Exactly.
So he kept saying to me, do you know how much that'd cost? Do you know how much work that would be? And so I'd leave him alone for a while, and then I'd start bugging him about it again. So finally, by chance, Frank Fredericks and Connie Twilliger were going to be doing something in Las Vegas. And so we kind of got together with them, and we said, well, gosh, if we're all going to be there, why don't we do a convention? So that was in November of 2006, and it felt a bit like an Our Gang comedy, if you remember the kids, and they'd all get together.
Oh, yeah.
I have a barn, and my aunt can make the dresses, and we'll put on a show. So in 5 months, we put on a show. And I've often said that it was charmed because everything went as it was supposed to. We had some technical glitches. We ended up being in a hotel that was filled with cigarette smoke, which was not good. But all those things taken into consideration, when you walked into the ballroom the night before we started, where everybody saw everybody else, the feeling in that room was just electric.
I know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, shoo! And people greeting each other and hugging each other. And I had people after 2007 come up to me in tears saying, I don't want it to end. I feel so much like I belong here. Because these people, I don't have to explain to them what I do. So after 2007 ended, we decided we didn't want it to end either. So that's when we started 2008 and bumped it up considerably. It was now in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, actually, at the Hyatt Regency, which is a fabulous,
gorgeous hotel. Yeah.
Wow. So we had it there for 2 years, 2008, 2010. 2012, we were at Disneyland at the Disneyland Hotel, which was great fun. And now this next year in August, we will be at the Anaheim Hilton, which is adjacent to Disneyland.
Yeah, it's just 5 minutes from my mom's house.
Which is great for you.
Which is going to be great for me. I'm still staying in the hotel for a lot of it, though. That's going to be great.
And why do you stay in the hotel, Dan?
Because that's where the fun is.
That's where it happens. It's after the sessions, between the sessions. It's sitting around the pool in the evenings. The tiki bar was very.
The tiki bar was big time. We were there on the last night. We were there till 3 a.m.
Oh wow!
And then I had to go home.
Yeah. People feel very fondly about the tiki bar.
Yes.
So I'm sure that there'll be something nice
similar.
Place, something similar.
Yeah. So what's the Anaheim Hilton like?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. One of the issues that we had, not really an issue, but one of the challenges we had at the Disneyland Hotel was there were very limited eating resources. There were a couple of restaurants on property, but there just wasn't a lot of places where you could go to get a quick bite to eat. Well, the Anaheim Hilton is directly adjacent to the Anaheim Convention Center. And just inside the door adjacent to the convention center is a huge food court. And they've got all kinds of fast food restaurants in there. You name it, it's there. There's a Starbucks on the ground floor. Just all kinds of eateries very close at hand.
Just about anything you'd want, a Starbucks and sandwiches. It's really nice because it will give people a lot of options. That was one of the things, is even as nice as the Hyatt Regency was, you couldn't just get a sandwich without it costing you an arm and a leg. So each time we've done a voice, we try to make the programs better. We try to give more free time, all the things that people come back to us with. And one of them was we need affordable places to eat. So we've tried every year to make it better and better. And in fact, our theme for this year is better than ever.
Outstanding. And what's going to make it better than ever? What are some of the different things you're going to try this time?
Well, we have a couple of things that are different this year that have never happened at Voice. We have Nathan Fisher, who is a very high-profile voice talent in Argentina. And he'll be coming in, and he's teaching an entire program strictly on how the Spanish voiceover market differs from the English-speaking voiceover market.
Mhm.
That's the whole focus of his
That's
program.
fascinating. Yeah.
We've never had a program of that type before. We've had some Spanish voiceover workshops and programs, but nothing from somebody that's actually from Argentina who really knows that Spanish market. And he does voiceover internationally. So we're very excited to have Nathan there. We have, well, I'm just checking the people who've registered. We already have people coming in from 7 different countries, as far away as Australia, the UK, Germany, Argentina, of course, Canada, of course. So they're coming in from all over the world to come to this convention in August.
Yeah.
Which did we have anybody international at 2007?
Yes, we had
Canada.
We had Japan and
that's
Canada,
right, Japan.
and I think we had UK.
Yeah. So one more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there were some from Australia too. Somebody came from very far away in Vegas.
Australia. Well, Lofty Fulton comes from Australia. He comes every time. And every time he comes, he seems to sign a new agent or have something, wonderful thing happen to him. So, yeah, he's a very big supporter of voice.
Another thing that we have this year is that we've never had at Voice before is we have a Las Vegas headliner appearing on the stage, who's not only doing an evening show on Thursday, but he'll also be doing a seminar on Friday in which he's going to be talking about some of the techniques and things that he uses in his show. His name is Marshall Silver. He bills himself as the world's greatest hypnotist. Real hypnosis, really funny. He does a very funny show.
Don't be afraid, Dan. It'll
be okay, Dan.
I've had some fun with hypnotists before. I'm going to
funny.
That one.
It has to be funny, yes.
Group of people, how fun is that going to be? Wow.
Absolutely.
So Marshall is all about keeping a positive approach to life and to business, and he's all about prosperity. Mm-hmm. So the title of his seminar on Friday is Creating a $1 Million Mouth. So he's going to be talking about what you can do to create your own mindset to keep moving you forward, ways that you can market and promote yourself, and it should be a great seminar. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, that's one of the other things about this one is the kind of underlying theme of this is motivation. Mm-hmm. Because you can have all the knowledge, you can have all the equipment, but what happens when you're all by yourself and you're really feeling down or the jobs aren't coming in and you don't feel very self-motivated? This is going to give us some tools to deal with that. Not only Marshall, but many of our presenters are kind of themed in that direction. It seems to have just happened that way. Much like when you have a potluck dinner, everybody just brings the right things.
Right. And it sounds like we've got a great lineup of people this year, too.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And we haven't even told you about all of them. Some of them we can't quite announce yet because not everything's in place, but we have some big names that are going to be there.
Most of the presenters on the schedule are already on the voice24.com website. Mm-hmm. So you can go to the website, look over, drag your mouse over where it says presenters, click on that, or just click on any of the photos that are on the homepage and that'll take you to the description of what each of the presenters is doing. Mm-hmm. And within the next month, probably by the end of May, we will have the actual day-by-day schedule posted up on the website. So things are coming very nicely.
Yes. And George and I will be there. And I know I'm doing a presentation on something. I think it's acoustics or something like that. And then George and I are going to do like we did last time. We're going to do our shoot. We're going to tape a tape. Who uses tape anymore? This is tape. This is the tape I use. We're going to record to somebody's hard drive an episode of EWABS from Voice 2014, and we had a great time last time, and we'll have an even better time this time because we got some great interviews and met some great people, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. Now, one of the things about voice that's been very traditional is that it's, a lot of people trying to get into the voice business come and show up and meet the important people and learn some of the basics of voiceover. But we're going to have some great stuff for some of the more master people in our community, people who are more experienced. What kind of stuff are we talking about for that?
Yeah, well, most of our programs are targeted for intermediate to advanced level instruction. So
excellent.
We're definitely looking at the pros. We want every professional in any field needs to keep up with the trends and the techniques and the things that are going to keep them current with whatever their line of work might be. And voiceover is no different. So a lot of our presenters will be doing advanced and intermediate level types of programs. So that's going to be very good. And even for the beginners who are just, getting their feet wet in voiceover, for them to sit in on one of the advanced classes is going to be of tremendous value because it's like immersion. You're going to be totally immersed in the subject matter, and you can't help but absorb something.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the really cool things about voice, and this is something that I've never heard of any other convention anywhere that does this except us. We record all the programs. And with a few exceptions, because there's some programs that have proprietary material, and just with our booking agreements with the presenters, we can't release the recordings.
Vast majority, though.
But the vast majority of the seminars and programs at Voice are recorded, and every person who registers as a full convention attendee gets a copy of those recordings.
Yeah, and they're nice to have, and because I wondered what I sounded like. I'm like, gee, what did I'd listen to my own thing, and I'm like, hey, it actually sounded pretty good.
Well, when you have a lot of breakout sessions going on, you have to make a decision which one you want to go and sit in on live. So it's very nice to be able to say, well, I can't sit on, but I'll get the recording. No, it's not the same as being there live, but you still have the information.
Yeah.
That's true. And George and I had a great time doing our presentation last time. My mom's sitting there in the front row, and it was different. It was not yes. Mom, wake up!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you had to be there. But anyway, so I think the one thing we haven't talked about: when exactly are we doing this?
Voice 2014 is August 27th through the 30th. So we start on Wednesday night, the 27th. We have our red carpet reception, and that's an open party. That's just a big party for the voiceover community, and we invite all the professionals in LA, Orange County, Southern California, wherever, to come and just, it's a party. And
a lot of agents attend that as well, although it's not meant as a meet the agent or anything like that, but we do invite them if they'd like to come.
A lot of them come incognito or anonymously because they don't want to be accosted, which is something that we try to frown on that. We try to say, if you're going to, don't attack the agents. If you find out somebody's an agent, don't walk up to them and ask them for representation, because that's just not cool.
Right.
But, if you want to get into a conversation with them and it flows, then that's another thing entirely.
Sure.
Right. Absolutely.
We do not encourage people to be aggressive and aggressively approach the agents,
or else the agents will stop coming, and that would be sad.
And because the whole purpose of this convention is to create a networking atmosphere, a nurturing environment where everybody's helping everybody else.
Right.
And
it's worked really well so far.
No, absolutely. Now, last week I was being somewhat facetious, talking about how I was on staff in 2008, and we worked very, very hard at that particular conference, because that was the first time I think you actually tried the ambassador program. And dog, what? Dog comes in here, starts sneezing away. It's like, okay, I'm trying to do a show. Anyway, and it was great fun, and I would encourage people to do it, because the end result of my participation in that is what we're doing tonight. Because George and I actually met while I was producing the room that he was presenting in. Oh yeah, and he was trying to do something, and he was going to go way over people's heads. I'm like, no, you got to simplify it, and essentially that's where EWABS started, was right there. And we've been great friends ever since. So I met him, became great friends with a bunch of other people that really are the core of what the voiceover community that you and I all know. A lot of people that watch our show, it really started at the Palace Station. Close the door so the smoke didn't get us, but it really started there. But the thing is if you get the opportunity to do the ambassador thing and be on staff and work the convention, you still get to see all the people, but you get to really be behind the scenes and get to be a little bit more intimate with some of the important people. So now I'm on a first name basis with some of these people, and I can pretty much thank you for that. So it was worth the effort.
Yeah.
The ambassadors too also get a deeply discounted registration. So we do make it worth their while. And then there's other special things that we have for them. And they do get a nifty red shirt.
Mm-hmm. They get a red shirt. See, I've got, right now I've got the
probably a couple blue ones, don't you?
I have the blue one.
The blue one. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
So I try to unwind myself from all the cables around here. But yeah, it was nice when you wear the t-shirt, everybody thinks you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you meet a lot of people that way too. It's a great opportunity. You're going to be there anyway. And our ambassador, our ambassador producer, I guess you would call her, that's Tammy Trujillo. She's been very good at setting it up so that people are not working all the time. She just has little bits and pieces for them to do. And if there's special programs they need to be to or want to be to, she makes sure that happens. So we're very cognizant of the fact that we don't want them working all the time. Right. And they want to go to Disneyland at some point. So we can't keep them too busy.
Yeah. So just so people know, whoever's listening or watching the show tonight, if you wanted to sign up or to apply for an ambassador position, just go to voice2014.com. And in the upper left-hand corner, there's a text link that says volunteer. Click on that link. That'll take you to a page that explains everything. There's a form at the bottom to fill out, and that gets your information over to Tammy, and then she'll take it from there.
Right.
All right. And and you can register, of course, at the voiceconvention.com site.
Right. Yes, you can register from the homepage or click on registration info, and that takes you over to more details. Mm-hmm. You can book your hotel directly from the website. You can set yourself up for the whole convention right from our website.
I might also add that on the 30th, that is the last day to be able to sign up for the deeply discounted ambassadorship, but also for registration. That ends on the 30th. That's only a couple days away.
It's early bird registration.
Early bird, yeah.
Our early bird. Everything, it goes up $50 on May 1st.
Right. So if you'd like to save that $50, and who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't?
In there before the 30th.
Yeah. And along that same line, we can actually save you another $50.
Yes.
For anybody that's watching this show, this is only until the end of this week. That would be the second or third of the month. So we'll take it until Friday, give people an opportunity that are watching the show not live, they're watching the playback. If you are watching the playback and you register for Voice 2014, send us an email, and in your email, say, "Take me out of the abyss," or just mention the word ABYSS. That's all you need to have someplace in the text of your email. And what we will do is we will give you a copy of our webinar. It's a 2-hour webinar on avoiding the audition abyss. That's a $50 webinar that we sell through voiceacting.com. And that webinar is
for free.
Yeah, you'll get it. That webinar is actually designed around the commercial that we produced at Voice 2012.
Mm-hmm. And all the auditions that we got from that, which was over 200 auditions. So
Right. Yeah. Now tomorrow night.
What's the email? Sorry, guys. What's the email address where that should go to?
The email address. Well, after you register for Voice, you'll have our email address.
Okay, gotcha.
But it would be info@voiceacting.com or
gotcha.
Info.
Yeah. Now tomorrow night at 5:00 Pacific time or 8:00 out here in the East Coast.
Yes.
You guys are having a little call-in, so if people have some more questions, they can ask. Although we're going to have a few questions from our audience in just a little bit, but so how can they call into that program?
Voiceacting.com, and look, you'll see the big postcard for the Voice Convention, and right below that, there's a text link that says "Sign up here for our free conference call." Click on that link, and there's a little form you fill out, and then that'll take you to a page with the dial-in number and everything you need to know. And we record that also, so everybody who is signed up, even if you can't be on the call tomorrow night, you'll still get the download. You'll get the recording on Wednesday morning.
And we hope to have lots of special people calling in for that one. A lot of our friends that have been at Voice, so that you can ask them questions too, not just us.
Yep.
Right.
I would be remiss not to say this, being employed by one of the main sponsors, but who are some of the major sponsors for this year's event? Who are some of the biggies this year that are going to be supporting it?
Still working on finalizing the contracts for our sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
we're hoping to have those all locked up within the next week or two.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really mention any of the names.
All right, we'll keep it mum for now.
Your employer, Edge Studio, which we absolutely love, David, and
that's going to
Edge.
happen.
That
is going to happen.
It looks like Edge is going to be our premier sponsor, which is awesome. We just love them for that. And when you find out what Edge has planned, it's going to be amazing.
It's really neat.
They've got some great things planned for the convention.
I'm excited to find out myself.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
That's going to be good.
I can't tell you right now, George. But it's going to be good.
Yes, it is.
So, Dan, should we jump to another quick break, or should we talk about Harlan and then we can go to Q&A? What would you like to do?
Well, I'll tell you what I was just thinking about it myself as we're multitasking here. I figured we could talk about Harlan for a second and talk about some of the great stuff that he has over at voiceoveressentials.com, like the VO1A, the voiceover microphone that you are hearing my actual voiceover at this particular time, not the one that was from 1928. This is the This is the VO1A, and it's a great microphone for voiceover, and that's what he designed it for. That's what Harlan designed stuff for. Not a lot of people make custom stuff, for voiceover. Harlan does, and he offers it only over at voiceoveressentials.com. Of course, the VO1A, designed as a voiceover microphone, it really is. It captures your voice the way you exist. Same thing with the Signature Series headphones, which we've talked about a lot on this show. They make you sound like you exist, not enhanced, not trying to make sure that there is enhancement at the low end. It's just nice and clean and flat across the entire spectrum. Go over to voiceoveressentials.com. Check those out. Has he got any specials this week? I know he was running some last week.
Yeah, I think those specials are now over. But he's got a couple products we haven't really talked about, just because they're not such splashy, flashy products. But he does have his VO headphone hanger, which sounds silly, but I actually need one because every time I hang my headphone on something that's not quite doesn't stick out far enough, my headphones end up on the floor like every day. So I'm definitely going to get a VO headphone hanger because he's got them over there. And he's got his own Vox Pop Stop filter, which is a metal mesh style filter if you like that kind. And he's working on some other things. He's got the new Harlan Hogan super light shotgun mic mount. So if you're using a shotgun style mic, a pencil mic like one of my favorites, the AT875R or the Sennheiser
416.
Yes. It will work with any of those, and at $25, it's a pretty sweet deal with free shipping. So check out some of the unique products. He's always innovating, trying to come out with something new. Oh yeah, and then there's the Harlan Hogan shock mount speaker stands. So he's got his own design for speaker mounts that if your speakers are sitting flat on your desk, maybe consider getting these to decouple the vibration of the speakers off of the desk.
Angle them back just a little bit.
Yeah, either angle them back or forward, depending on where they need to be, so the tweeters line up with your ears. So he's got all that good stuff. And great customer service to boot.
Absolutely the best customer service out there. Go over to voiceoveressentials.com. And I believe Harlan's going to be with us in May.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't have a date nailed down for him yet, but he will be on our show in May to check in with us. Every year we bring Harlan on. We never miss him.
Right. We have to book 4 hours to do it, but he will be with us.
He's verbose.
He definitely says what he has to say.
He is a voice actor.
he definitely is. Anyway, voiceoveressentials.com. Thank you, Harlan. You have been with us since the beginning of time.
You have. Thank you
141 episodes ago.
Thanks for doing it.
All right. Okay, so now we've got more stuff we want to talk to Jim and Penny about because we can.
And we're here.
We're here.
And they're there. A couple of things. Now, you guys are also, you have the Voice Acting Academy. The voice and down in San Diego, and you guys do all sorts of great stuff down there. You've got, you said, and you bring in some great guests. What are some of the things you guys are up to this month? Although I'm sure you're just like going hog wild getting Voice 2014 together.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do that and do this event at the same time.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, really. We finished a workshop just this past weekend, which was awesome.
That was a pie
It
event.
was one of our performance intensive events.
And you actually do get pie when you come to those.
Oh, cool.
We usually do it about every month. For the next 4 months, we are in hyper mode for the convention. So our location workshops are pretty much going on hiatus for a couple of months. We'll be starting those up after the convention again. So we don't really have a lot happening here at Voice Acting Academy. However, one facet of what we have here is Voice Acting Studios. And our website is voiceactingstudios.com. And we do audio post-production, of course, voice track recording, audio for video, even video editing, occasionally some video shooting. I'll get out with my high-def camera and do some shooting occasionally. So a lot of things that we do through the studio arm of what we do here. And so that's kind of an ongoing thing that's happening.
Yeah, Jim has some fancy schmancy new cameras, and boy, they're pretty impressive.
We love it.
25 years in television.
Yeah.
Mainly, my main job was directing and as an audio supervisor, but I also did a lot of video editing and a lot of production work and audio for video, ADR, lip sync, you name it, I did it. And when I was with NBC.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we've got a couple of questions here from our audience, and maybe we can start with some of those. And actually it leads right into one of the other things we wanted to talk about. Steve Gonzalez says, is there a timeline for the 5th edition of The Art of Voice Acting? And so we figured.
Checks in the mail, Steve.
We don't try this at home. Actually, we do try to get people to try this at home, but that's a whole nother story. What's the latest with The Art of Voice Acting with the 5th edition?
The first draft is finished. It is off to the publisher. It's being reviewed right now for content. The book is coming in just under 500 pages. It's a big boy. It covers a lot of material. There's a lot of new content that was not in the previous editions. There's also a dedicated website, which you can access the website now. Anybody can get to the supplemental content. Just go to voiceacting.com, and in the upper left-hand side of the screen, there's a link that says AOVA Extras. And click on that. That'll take you over to the page. You have to sign up to log into to that area of the site. But once you're in there, you've got access to a lot of the supplemental material that goes with the book, PDF files, audio recordings from every edition of the book. So it's not just the 5th edition, it's everything is there.
Well,
plus there are articles and some other.
Well, I was going to say, and if you've bought the book on, say, Kindle or something else electronic, you don't have those CDs. Right. So this is an opportunity where you can just go on there and you can have it too.
Yep. Yeah. And as far as the timeline for the 5th edition, the publication date, last I heard from my publisher, the publication should be probably October, late September to possibly early November, someplace in that October timeframe. So it'll be a little bit after the convention is over.
Yeah. I think that's great that, you're going to have audio with this. It never made any sense to me, like read a book on voiceover. Well, yeah, especially something technical. How's it supposed to sound? So, I mean, that's something that George and I try to deal with every week here on the show. And how's it supposed to sound as opposed to how does it not sound?
Yeah.
So
well, I've had a CD with the book since the 2nd edition. The 1st edition was, I think the publisher was really kind of, they were just kind of getting their toes in the water just to see what was there. And when the book started to sell and become very popular, even though the 1st edition was like 235 pages, they gave me the CD in the 2nd edition, and the 2nd edition was greatly expanded. And it's just been growing ever since. They keep giving me more pages every edition.
It's going to have to be 2 volumes, I fear.
Right. You have to have a whole new bookshelf for all the different editions.
Yeah.
Well, it's a book that's used in how many universities?
There's at least a dozen, or actually probably more, probably closer to 20 universities around the country that use my book as their primary textbook.
That's
excellent.
It gets around.
All right. I can't wait to read the new one then.
Yeah, it's good. There's some really good stuff in this one that I haven't had room for in previous editions. I actually had to take 2 chapters out that I wanted to include in order to make room for new content. I took the 2 chapters out, and they're actually available on the website.
Outstanding. Nathan Cundiff asks, I think we all asked this one. Is there a chance that that voice will ever make its way to the Knoxville area or outside of Southern California for that matter?
In a word, no.
No.
Let us tell you why.
Yeah,
please do.
Voice is based in LA. We did the first one, as you know, in Las Vegas, and that was a really good experiment. But what we learned by being in Las Vegas is that the high-end talent who are based in Los Angeles aren't going to get up and go to Las Vegas to be
they can't.
part of
They're working. That's the whole point.
Yeah. So that's why we moved the convention to Beverly Hills in 2008, so that we would make it more convenient for the major talent agents in LA and the major voice talent in LA. And, let's face it, Los Angeles is the heart of the voiceover world. It's the capital of voiceover. New York's a great base for voiceover, so is Chicago, but LA's the place. So the only practical and realistic place for us to do the voice convention is Los Angeles.
Yeah, and having it in Anaheim makes it easy for a lot of people because it's like in the middle of everywhere between San Diego and LA. And
Anaheim's it's about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour east of Los Angeles. But it's not so far away that the LA talent and agents can't get out there. And it's, like you say, it's kind of in the center of everything. It's close to San Diego, close to Irvine, right next to Disneyland.
Well, and it's easy to fly into because you can go into the Orange County or John Wayne Airport. So it's not quite as busy and frenzied as LAX is. But, to just speak to that a little bit, we would love to be able to come to all the places where all of our friends live, but it's impossible. So we made the decision fairly soon that we had to decide on a base. I'm sorry, my mouth is not working today. That's not a good thing for a voice actor.
It's the end of a long day.
We made the decision that we would stay in this area, even so much though as somebody said, well, why don't you have it in San Diego? There's great stuff in San Diego. Even that far away from LA would keep people from being there that we want there because of their. So.
The key is trying to attract the folks who wouldn't ordinarily make it out to a convention like this that you want to have be contributors, and so you got to be where they're located. Because I know it's frustrating for people. Anthony mentioned, so isn't there voiceover industry outside of LA? Well, we all know that there is, but it's if you want to attract some of the big talent that are out there. You do have to be in a location that they're going to be more likely to attend. Yes. And there's some truth to that. Now, I mean, that certainly leaves it open for other folks out there who have are as crazy as you guys to start their own voiceover event in their own cities.
Well,
right?
Sure. There's a lot of other things going on right now. We finished with VO Atlanta.
Right.
There are AFCONs that go on. There's all kinds of meetup groups. I mean, I feel very privileged to have been in the very beginning of this, maybe just get us over the hump, that thought of getting us all together. And now so many people have picked that up and they're running with it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's important that the voiceover community really started there. And I think that will always be a testament to how great a conference this really is. People understand and learn what community is all about, and that's actually part of the C in there. Well, it's VoiceOver International Creative Experience, but you also have community as part of one of the triads of what you're about.
It's a three-tiered structure. Everything we do for the convention is built around education, technology, and community. And in education, we've got a ton of seminars and events. For technology, we have the exhibit hall. We have
you guys.
We got you guys. We got the exhibit hall. We have 40 exhibitors in our exhibit hall this year. And for the community, we have major networking events like the red carpet reception on Wednesday night to kick off the convention. We have a garden party.
Garden party's great.
Friday evening.
And then we have the banquet.
And then the banquet Saturday night. Yep.
It's a full-fledged convention.
Well, we've said it before on the show. We said it last week, but this show would not actually exist if not for your convention, because that's how Dan and I met. That was the genesis of our relationship. So, you guys have an important part of the existence of EWABS at all.
It's like going to college. You will make friends you'll have for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I think it's what. Hey, and I got the chance
And
to
it's
meet
way
Dick
cheaper
Orkin.
than college. Sorry.
Yeah.
Way cheaper than
just a little bit.
college.
Well, and there's
Yeah.
other things too. For you guys know Larry Davis, of course.
Of course, we know Larry Davis.
Larry Davis and Elizabeth Stewart met at Voice 2008, wasn't it? Or
2010.
2010. Yeah.
They met there, and before they left there, which was 3 days, they'd fallen in love and decided to spend the rest of their life together. He almost didn't come. She almost didn't come.
But they did.
But they did. And they met each other, and that's a great story. And there's so many
It really is.
Love
Aunt
connection.
Boys from Turkey and Mehmet. They lived in Istanbul, both of them. They met on the airplane coming to Voice.
Really?
And now
And
there's
now they're business partners. It's a great story.
I thought I thought they knew each other before they came. That's interesting. Oh wow.
Airplane.
Well, we could talk about these stories all night because there's so many people show up for this from all over the place, and we just have a great time. Like I was saying earlier, I got to meet Dick Orkin, who was my ultimate hero from the '60s in radio, and
I was who's
I,
Dick Orkin again?
yeah, kid. You don't remember Dick Orkin?
The first time I walked into Don LaFontaine's home studio, I was like, "Who's Don LaFontaine?" So hey, I really came from the outside world before voiceover. Yeah.
My, how you've grown, and actually, how our show started. The other idea how the show started. George and I had booths next to each other. He was advertising his services, and I was, the home studio master. And somebody brought us a computer and said, "I'm having trouble with my computer. It's like hissing or something." There's that hiss again. And because it was a Windows computer, and we're like, well, you could try this and you could try that. And people just started to gather around and listen to us talk shop.
Awesome.
And that's really where we got the idea to do the show from. So
we had a Tech Talk Terrace too in our exhibit hall.
Absolutely. Yeah.
People can come and ask questions because, it's difficult for somebody who's brand new that maybe doesn't really even understand how to render an MP3 to ask that question in a class full of people that do.
Right.
Yeah, it can be scary.
So people can just sit down and have a one-on-one conversation and not feel so intimidated by it.
Yeah. So we'll be there. We'll be there to help you and answer those questions. And James will be there or running around in the background somewhere.
Yeah, I usually do.
We have a wonderful staff, though, that has made it so much easier for us to actually go out and be able to talk to people and socialize a bit.
Excellent. All right. So go over to voiceconvention.com and sign up for Voice, and we will see all of you there because you have to go.
And the short form of that is voice2014.com.
Right. All right. So makes it much easier, which is why we went with EWABS.com. It makes it much easier for people to find us. James and Penny, thanks so much for being on our show again, and look forward to Voice 2014. Sounds like it's going to be a great time. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Oh, I'm so glad. And you're coming clear across the country, so don't any of you be belly aching about that.
Yeah, really. Well, hey, but like I said, Mom anyway, so it makes it easier. Anyway, thanks for being with us tonight, and hey, we'll see you next weekend. By the way,
okay,
in Las Vegas, we'll get another conference we got to go to.
Another one. Thank you.
So they're piling up week after week. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back and clean things up here on East West Audio Body Shop. So don't go anywhere. There's still a little bit left here. VoiceOver Extra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource center 24/7. Hundreds, probably thousands of free how-to articles for voiceover success, ranging from home studio to voice acting to business. A free voiceover industry directory, calendar of industry events, resource links, a store, and much more. Bi-monthly webinars on all topics of voiceover, free subscriptions to newsletters, reports, announcements, daily news, and features at voiceoverextra.com.
Now back to EWABS with Dan and George.
No, it's George and Dan.
No, it's not. It's Dan and George.
George and Dan.
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 George and Dan.
Dan and George.
George and Dan.
Dan and George.
George and Dan. Dan and George.
I'm going to assume we're back on then.
That would the countdown usually indicates just that.
Okay.
I hope you heard me.
I did hear you.
Okay, good.
I've only been doing this for 30 years. I have a degree in broadcasting. I know what 321 means.
Okay, good.
All right. But this is the internet. Who cares? All right. What do we got left here? We have a few announcements here.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we need to thank our donors because who are the latest donors? Eric Aragoni.
Wait a minute. Can't miss. Can't miss.
Just sit back and relax. It's time for some announcements.
Anyway, where were we?
Okay, we were talking about who our latest donors were. Eric Aragoni, thank you very much, and thanks everybody else who has given to the cause. We still have clickers. If you've ordered a clicker, I got to do another load of clicker deposits one of these days, probably this week, and get you your clickers because you got to have them. $5 right in our website there, right below our picture there. You can see where to order. East West Audio Body Shop clicker.
Thanks for the sustaining donations we've had too. It's a new feature. If you scroll down the web page from the player you're looking at now, scroll down, you'll see the Get Your EWABS clicker link. And if you scroll down a little bit further, let me see if I can show you what I'm actually looking at. You'll see
subscribe.
Yeah, you'll see there's a send a voice message, which is something we haven't really gotten to use much of yet, but it does work. But under that, you'll see there's the ability to subscribe, which I do believe is working correctly now. And you can start as little as $1 a month, $3, $5, $7, or $10 a month. And if that tool doesn't work, let us know. I think we got it working, but nonetheless, you can subscribe and just be a sustaining member of the show. Just even $1 a month. A bunch of you guys do that. That gives us a little bit extra dough to save up for some new toys, tools, ways of improving the show. And,
like tonight.
And more parties and more swag and more fun stuff. So
that's right. And that's what we're all about, is having fun, because if it's not fun, why do it?
That's right.
All right. We still have our new YouTube channel. You know, if you missed the show tonight, 1, you're not hearing me say this. 2, if you do happen to miss an episode, all 141 episodes are on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/EWABS show with 2 S's, EWABSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssssss backlog of tips of the week and George's talks about all the billions of different things we've talked about with home voiceover studios. It's all there.
Billions.
And of course, what?
Billions. I just love that word.
Billions and billions. Yes. Okay. And EWABS Essentials, when we remember to put those out. It's just little tidbits of great moments from EWABS, something important that one of our great guests has said that will just inspire you to get up the next morning and turn on that microphone and be the best you can be.
That reminds me, while we're talking about EWABS Essentials, it's something we had the intention of keeping flowing and coming out. And thanks to the help of Jack DeGolia, who's making show notes with time logs.
Wow, that's
it's
amazing.
getting easier to find these, but we're still falling behind in getting these out there. If anybody has a little bit of spare time, a little bit of chops at playing with video, or if you just want to give it a shot yourself and try to put some of these up, we would love to take any help from the audience. That if somebody wants to learn what the process is to make an Essentials video and post it on our YouTube channel, I will personally train you on how to do it, and we would love to help because we want to keep those going. It's just been a little bit hard with just me, Catherine, and Dan to keep those coming at the pace that we'd like to. So if anybody wants to step up, let us know. Drop us a note at ewabshop@gmail.com. I'd be glad to chat with you about how you can help us keep those essentials coming, because there's a lot of content in the can.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of content.
There sure is. Oh, and James wanted to remind everybody that their Audition Abyss offer is only available after registering for Voice 2014. So if you want which is a great webinar, make sure you
got to register.
Sign up. You got to register for Voice.
Right.
You want to register to Voice anyway. Let's see what else is going on here. Well, we've got. It doesn't look like we have anybody particular scheduled. We've got a few people on the line here.
Yes, it gets busier this time of year. This is May is like crazy month, right? There's just so much going on. The jobs seem to really ramp up. So locking down guests is even harder work for Catherine right now. And I think we are still working on our marketing roundtable
on May 12th. Yeah. So
that's going to be a biggie. So the marketing roundtable, our guests are all getting lined up right now. As soon as we have them all locked in, we'll be sending out a promo to tell you guys about who will be on that roundtable. But it should be really helpful for those who are trying to boost their marketing and really get out there more in the social media and stuff like that.
Yeah. And next week, of course, I'll have a report from WovoCon, and everybody needs to find out about World Voices Organization. We're having our first actual conference in Las Vegas next week. And now James and Penny will be there, and I know Pat Fraley is going to be there, and all the important people in the business who are members of WOVO.
Except for me, which I have
Except for you.
Not to speak for myself. I was just in Vegas for NAB. I told Dusty, I said, why didn't you guys make NAB and this thing the same week or the same weekend? That would have been awesome. I could have gone covered two
next
things.
Year.
Yeah, maybe next year they can do that. Anyway,
I've been wanting to go to NAB for like 30 years.
Such a good show.
It sounded like you had a great time there.
Great show.
But WovoCon is coming up next week, and we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about World Voices and where we're going to take that organization in the next couple of years too, and that's going to be a good time for us. Well, let's see what else. Again, hope Uncle Roy, I hope you're feeling a lot better out there, and if you're watching this, well, we want to make sure you're feeling better. So why would you be watching this? Also, we need to thank our sponsors once again, Harlan Hogan, of course, VoiceOver Extra, Edge Studio. Make sure you get your VoiceOver world cleaned up by George Whittam. Make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at EWABS_show, and subscribe to YouTube, to the new YouTube channel, like we said.
That should
thank the most important people.
Do it. Yes, let's thank our wives.
Yeah. Oh God. You're doing what?
Poor wives.
141 Sundays and Mondays.
I know. Monday's a little bit better than Sunday. I'm glad we're doing it Monday. I really am.
Monday night's working
when I'm sitting out on the beach with my daughter at 5:30 on a Sunday, there's still that little bit inside me that goes, "Oh crap, I need to get it." Oh no, I don't. I can still sit out here.
That's right. It gives us a whole day to really think about it and make the show what it is.
And huge thanks to Catherine, our producer, who does this completely voluntarily. In fact, everybody we're going to name here does this voluntarily. Catherine, our producer, who books our guests, puts together these round tables. And hopefully not regretting it. Anthony Gettig, who's in our chat room and keeping the questions flowing and keeping it moving. Jack DeGolia, like I said, who's doing our show notes in lieu of Jason, who is under recovery right now, some health issues, Jason Lawson. And Lee Penny, who's doing our getting our podcast version of the show online, which I've realized not too long ago, there's a ton of you listening to the show that just download as a podcast. You don't care about sitting here and chatting. You don't care about, watching the video. You're not on YouTube, but you're like me. You might drive around, you might commute, and you just want to hear this information in your pod player, your podcatcher. We're on there. And that's the way I consume a lot of shows. So I get it. And I'm really glad you guys are out there listening. We're doing a better job of keeping up with the pace of the production and keeping those podcasts going, because we know there are a lot of you out there. And one other cool little tidbit before we go. We found out recently when Jack DeGolia, when he puts those show notes in YouTube in the comments, and he puts like time 110, time whatever, those little numbers, the time indexes of when things are happening, are clickable links. So if he says at 23 minutes and 45 seconds, James and Penny come on and talk about voice or whatever, if you click on that time, it will jump to that time code automatically. It just works. So that's really nifty. Another cool way you can get to content a little bit quicker and get to what you want to see in the show.
Yep. All righty. Well, that's going to wrap it all nice up in a nice little ball there. Yep. So that's going to do it for East West Audio Body Shop this week. We will see you next Monday night. Someone will be here. I know George and I will be here. And we'll have a great time. And thanks for joining us in the chat room. That's a fun place. It's always a riot to watch what's going on there. And the stuff we miss, we just scroll back and go, gee, we missed that part.
Yeah, I read it last time. It was great.
It was great. And it was great having the party last week. So, starting year number 4, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are
East-West Audio Body Shop. Well, I'll see you next time.
I'll see you later, Dan.
Bye.